Do you or someone you know have high blood pressure? Did the doctor say you'll be on these medications forever? Well, I'm here to tell you there is a way for you to definitely improve your blood pressure, and in many cases reverse it. Watch and learn. Many of my patients have high blood pressure or hypertension. If you live in the United States and you're over the age of 20, you have about a 1 in 2 chance of actually having hypertension or developing it. 46% of Americans actually have high blood pressure. And why is that a big deal? Well, it can cause a lot of things that we don't want to deal with. First of all, it's the #1 cause of death worldwide. It kills 9 million people every single year. It increases the risk for heart attack, for stroke, for kidney disease, heart failure, and a host of other things. Now, is this actually preventable? Yes. And what if you already have high blood pressure? Can you reverse it? Yes, in many cases you can. And if you do have it, you can certainly dramatically improve your numbers by doing a few simple things. And it all goes back to lifestyle. And what do I mean by lifestyle? What I mean by lifestyle is making better choices. Now that could be a variety of things, but I'm going to focus mostly today on nutrition. And if you're following this, you already know what I'm going to say. But let's talk a little bit about what is high blood pressure, and when someone tells you how you have high blood pressure, how severe a case is it? Now, many times you will need medication to control your numbers, and that's really important because we don't want to have you suffer the devastating effects of high blood pressure. But while you're on medications, we should be doing everything we can to reverse that process or dramatically improve it, needing less medications, because medications will have side effects. And blood pressure meds are notorious for causing a host of them: fatigue, erectile dysfunction, a variety of things. So what exactly is high blood pressure? Well, it all goes back to your heart. So as your heart is pumping, okay, there's a few things going on. That's its job. It's pumping blood to bring nutrients, oxygen to all your organs, your muscles, your brain, all of these things. So when the heart contracts, that is called systole. When it relaxes, that's called diastole. So when you look at blood pressure, there's 2 numbers. There's the top number, and then there's the bottom number. The top number is when the blood is actually being pumped by the heart. So when the heart is contracting, that number that you're reading is the blood that's going out into the arteries. It's the pressure exerted on the inside walls of the artery. So the heart contracts, you pump it, the blood's being pumped, and it's measuring the pressure inside the arteries. Now, the bottom number is the diastolic blood pressure. That is actually between heartbeats, where your heart is actually filling back up with blood. So it's the pressure exerted on your arteries at rest. And both of those tell us a lot of different things. They tell us how stiff your blood vessels are. It also tells us the resistance of different parts of the body as far as like the blood pressure moving forward. But we don't want to necessarily get into that. I just want you to understand what's going on when they measure your blood pressure. And just let me explain real quickly, how do they actually measure the blood pressure? What are they listening for, or what is that machine doing that if you have an automatic blood pressure cuff? First of all, if you do have blood pressure, you should get a cuff that measures on the upper arm. That's the more accurate. You should sit for at least 5 minutes, not be talking, drinking, watching television or anything. Just sit 5 minutes, rest for a minute, put the blood pressure cuff on, have your arm relaxing on a table or as close to you can to the heart level as possible. And then that's when you would do the automatic cuff. Now, when someone's listening to the blood vessels with a stethoscope and they're pumping up that machine, so they have a blood pressure cuff and there's a number. You'll see numbers going up over 200 down to 0. And what they do is they pump it up past a certain number. Most people, if they're non-hypertensive or not don't have high blood pressure, you'll pump it past like 160. So what that does is that occludes the artery, right? Your hand will get numb and tingly if that happens on, if they leave it on for a period of time, because they've stopped the blood from flowing to your limb. So now what happens is there's an artery here, and they're placing the stethoscope right over it. And so now they can't hear anything. Then they slowly release the pressure, and they're watching that needle on the gauge. So as the needle goes, and the very first heartbeat that they hear is the top number. So let's say they hear 130. So that's your top number. Now they'll hear a beat, 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 beat. And then the very last number that they hear is actually the bottom number. So that's where they get the top and the bottom number. Very simple. It was one of the very first things I learned to do when I was in high school volunteering at a doctor's office, was taking blood pressure. And it's something that you can easily do. They even have blood pressure cuffs with a stethoscope that you can actually listen to and pump it up yourself. I've done it myself. It's easier to have someone else do it, but if you don't have someone to help you, there's a variety of ways to be monitoring your blood pressure. Now, what are the different categories of blood pressure? So there's normal, there's elevated, and stage 1 and 2. And this has changed recently from the American the American College of Cardiology. And what they've done is they want us to really pay attention to high blood pressure. So they've actually made what was considered just pre-hypertension more of an issue than before, because they're seeing all these devastating effects of high blood pressure. So normal is anything under 120 on the top and under 80 on the bottom. Elevated would be 120 to 129, and anything still under 80. Stage 1 is 130 to 139, and the bottom number is between 80 and 89. And then stage 2 is anything over 140 and anything over 90. And it doesn't take much for most Americans to be at least in stage 1, if not stage 2, high blood pressure. So what can you do about it? Well, we need to flood our bodies with these amazing foods. First of all, you need to remove things that cause blood pressure, and you need to enhance things or increase things that enhance or make your blood pressure normal. So what would that be? First of all, remove sodium. No added salt. It's one of the number 1 risk factors for hypertension is stop adding salt to our food. Maybe I should say stop adding food to the salt, because that's what a lot of things taste like. So when you go out to eat, when you're cooking at home, all these different things take into consideration. Processed foods have high sodium, because people know that will sell. If you go to a restaurant, they're going to feed you high sugar, high fat, high salt, because that's what people have been accustomed to tasting. So when you remove the salt, that alone could dramatically improve your blood pressure. And then what else should you be doing? You should be increasing high potassium foods. High potassium foods will actually help negate some of the high sodium that you may be consuming. So plant foods have high potassium. There's tons of them besides banana. Just type in Google highest potassium foods, and you'll just see a whole host. Some other things that you may want to consider is sleep, hydration, stress. All of those will take into effect. But the number 1 thing you can do is consume a plant-based diet. And I'm talking about a whole food plant-based diet. Particularly, I'm going to tell you about 3 different types of foods. Number 1 is the green leafies. These are the foods that are rich in nitrates, which actually help convert to nitric oxide, which relaxes your blood pressure, or your blood vessels, that relaxes the blood vessels, which lowers the blood pressure. And these are going to be things like arugula, spinach, kale, chard. Again, beet greens. All of these things are amazing to help lower blood pressure. The other things you can do are ground flaxseed, about 1/4 cup a day, and hibiscus tea, about 1 cup with every meal, has been shown to have dramatic effects. Some other lifestyle interventions you could do is definitely make sure you're exercising. It could be as simple as walking every day, making sure you're getting plenty of sleep. This is anywhere from 7.5, anywhere they say 7 to 8 hours, but most people are going to need closer to that 8-hour mark, at least from the people or my patients' experience. The other thing is really stress. It's really incredible to see stress take such an effect on people. And just by doing deep breathing techniques or meditation, you have a dramatic improvement. So here it is again, going back to the plant-based diet. I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any questions regarding any medical concerns or question, or maybe you have a question about the plant-based diet or anything in lifestyle medicine, or just any question in general, I'd be happy to hear it. But leave a comment below, and we're going to pick one question a week, and we will do our best to answer it. So hope you found that helpful, and have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Before you go though, please hit the subscribe button and the alert button so you will be notified whenever we upload any new videos. On Monday, we upload the Healthy Human Revolution podcast. Now, if you'd rather listen to the podcast, you can find it on all the major platforms, such as iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and even Spotify. On Tuesdays, we upload the Doctor's In. This is where I answer your questions. Thinking of that, could you please comment below any questions you might have about health or wellness, or any topics that you would like me to cover? Now, if you're looking for more resources on how to start a plant-based diet, sustain a plant-based diet, exercise, recipes, anything regarding wellness, we've got you covered. Check out healthyhumanrevolution.com. And again, thanks for watching.